Hello everybody. Today I'm going to finally share with you the wedding book that I have made for a lady by the name of Helen. Some of you may remember Helen sent me her wedding dress and asked me if I could make her a memento fabric book from the wedding dress, and I said I would do that. And you may also remember that I made this little bag here to put the book inside of. I have a video on this bag. It's got some beautiful Crafty Me Shop laces and trims on it, and I'll put a link to that in the description box below. However, I did have to change this because the book ended up being too big and it wouldn't fit. So luckily I hand stitched the sides of it, so I was able to unpick it quite easily. And what I've done is I've put a gusset in each side and just hand stitched that in there, which gave me more room to put the actual book in. So let's have a look at the book. It did end up being bigger than what I thought it would be, and somehow I ended up with more pages than what I'd started out, with the idea of. I'd sent a sketch to Helen and a rough sketch of each page before I even started, and I've ended up with a couple more pages, so but that's okay. It is a one-off kind of book and it is a memento for her, so I'm sure it will be all right. So let's just move this over here, and this is the book, so I'll just bring that up for you. And I have tried to use as much of the wedding dress as I could. The front part here, this is the lace trim from around the base of the wedding dress, and I've gathered that up, and then I've put some fabric flowers, and you can arrange those a little bit however you like, Helen, once you get the book. I have made a frame on the front here and put some gimp braid, and then I've stitched some pearls on there as well. The satin is from the wedding dress also, and that's from the bottom of the wedding dress, and it already had this little hem on it, which was nice, so I've just ruffled that around the edge of the frame. And then there's a layer of the tulle, and this part here was actually inside of the sleeve. The puffy sleeve had some tulle inside of it, so I've used that at the back there. The cover actually does open up the frame, and inside of it I've just put wedding book, and it's plain on the other side, so Helen can put a picture from her wedding on that if she likes, or she can leave it like that. But that just slides in there, and it has a tulle overlay just to diffuse it a little bit. And down the bottom here, the whole cover is made from the satin. Can I show you? I'll show you on the back. The satin and the lace from her wedding dress. I have put some beautiful Crafty Me Shop lace down the bottom here, just to coordinate with the bag. But then I've got this beautiful beaded piece on the front of the wedding book, and that is from the front of Helen's dress. And what I might do is insert a photo of the wedding dress in here now, so you can see what it looked like. and then I'll carry on. So that's the front, and I tried not to over embellish the book because I wanted the wedding dress to be the star of the show. I didn't want to detract from that with too many other laces and things. Around the edge of the cover, I've put some white trim, and then I've stitched the beaded trim around it as well. On the side here, it has the ruffled lace from the bottom of her wedding dress, and then I have this beautiful corded lace going down the center, and that is also a Crafty Me shop lace. It did have some tiny little silver beads on it, but I took them off because, like I said, I don't want to detract from the dress that it's been made from, so I tried to keep everything quite subtle. This beautiful piece here is from Annie, who is Miss Garden Grove 1. She sent this beautiful large flower here, and then I've added these tassels myself onto this one. I just beaded those and put them there to try and coordinate with the beautiful beaded piece from Helen's dress on the front. And then on the back, you can see here, I've used it the same way as I did the bag. I've put the satin down and then the lace over the top, which is how Helen's dress was. And then I've scalloped the lace from the bottom of the dress down the bottom there. And I've just put a little piece of the applique from the bodice, I think that one, yes, from the back of the neck, the bodice part, to hide where the satin is tied there. And once again around the edge with some white trim, and I've stitched some pearls on. So that is the cover. I've made some satin ties to close the book, and we will just go inside now. Now this is a book of pockets because it's meant for some memorabilia for from Helen's wedding. I hope you can see that all right. And that's kind of how she wanted it. She didn't want it too over the top, and she wanted to be able to store some memorabilia in it. So that's what I've done for her. And it's actually, it's strange making a book without pictures in it. Okay, so our first page here, or our first double page here, down the bottom I just have some dangles. I went through all my laces trying to find white laces to add to the book because she said it would be okay to add some of my own things into it. And I was surprised. I've used basically every white lace almost that I had because I tend to tea dye my laces, so a lot of them just would not go in this book. Anyway, so all the pages are the satin and the lace over the top. I've used this beautiful lace here, and that was actually from Lynn Harris. And it's a beautiful one, and I thought that would look lovely in this book. Most of the little delicate ones are also from Lynn Harris as well, and the dangle trim is either from Seriously Scrapping or Lisa's Craft Shop. I've made a flower from the tulle that was inside the sleeves, from the lace at the bottom of the dress and from the satin, and then a small applique from the dress in the center as well. I've put some of the rat tail, a little bit of ribbon, and also this lovely little beaded, it's not beaded actually, but it looks beaded. It's so fine. That was from Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. And then I have this tiny little bottle here, and in there is the little bits of confetti that I found in the gathering. Oh, where was that? It was the gathering, I think it was on the waist, the hip line. No, it wasn't, sorry. There was a little bit of gathering on the sleeves, and when I was pulling it apart, they popped out. And there's also a couple of sequins that fell off the appliques as well in there. So I've just popped that there for you, and that is glued shut, so hopefully that will stay there nicely. Now, this is the first, I also have this, this is the lace from the bottom of the dress. Now, about 90 to 95% of this book is hand sewn. All the pages are hand sewn in, all the laces are hand sewn on. There is some gluing. There just is, and behind appliques you have to put a bit of glue as well, but the majority of it is all hand sewn. So this is the first page, a little bit of my own lace up here. Then I've made some flowers using the satin and lace from Helen's dress, and let me just show you the actual lace from the bottom of her dress is this that I took off, and there's all these little flowers like that, and so I've used those little flowers inside of those flowers there as well. And this is an applique piece, and that was on the back of the dress, and these are 3 of the buttons that were on the back of the dress. Also, there were 6 buttons in all from the back of the dress. Then I've made a little tag, and these are actually nominal tags because she's going to be using it for memorabilia and things, but I felt like I had to put something in the pocket because it was there. And I had this gorgeous damask paper. That is I think it's Christina Ray or something like that. I'll tell you when I come further in there because there's a little name on it. And I've made these tags. They're just, you could write on the back of them. So if she wanted to put something in there, a piece of memorabilia, she'd be able to write on here why that is significant and what it was for. And then I've put the applique piece from the lace from Crafty Me shop on the top there. Kept it quite simple. Like I said, I did not want to detract from the fabrics of the dress itself. So I have more laces, which probably all came from Lynn Harris as well. And then our next 2 pages here are 2 pockets, and once again 2 more tags in there made out of the same things. On this one here I've ruffled all the lace from the bottom of the dress, and then I've used some appliques from the back of the dress. I've also put appliques at the top here and one in the center of the page as well, and going down here I have more of the dangle trim down the bottom as well. There's not a huge amount of dangles. I had to work with what I had, so that's that page there. Oh, and there is this little trim here going down the side. Actually came from Helen's dress as well. Just let me, because it's satin, sometimes you get a little bit of thread that's fraying a bit, but it will eventually, you know, not do that anymore. This was around, the sleeves are kind of I think it's called a leg-a-mutton design, where they're puffy at the top, and then at the elbow they all cinch in, and then they're slim down the bottom. Well, around this part here where it all changed, there was this bit of lace, and that's probably where the confetti was, and so I've used a little bit of it there because there was only a little bit on each sleeve. Used a bit of it there and a bit of it there as well. So that is that page there, and then the center page is this one here. Now I have used on this side, this is the actual sleeve. This part here and this part here were joined together, and they're the buttons on the side of the sleeve. And so I just opened it up and laid it on the page, and I thought that would make a lovely pocket. More of the little flowers from the trim, and there's some more trim there. And then inside I've just put a bag, and that has some lace from her dress in there as well, because I thought it might be nice to send her back some of the lace and some of the satin. Just, you know, it's nice to have apart from the book itself. So these are all satin. The pockets are lined, and they have like an interfacing inside of them as well, just to add a little bit of, you know, substance. There's some gimp braid down the side there as well, and some lovely gathered lace here, and I think that might have been from Lisa's craft shop also. In the center I've made a little journal for her, and this can come out. See how it's on elastic there? It's got like a fake spine in there because I felt that the spine needed a little bit more substance as well. So I have put that there, and that is easy to get out, to write on, and then slide back in. In the center I have a couple of flowers on the threads there, done in that same damask paper. I have a beautiful, it's almost like it's either wings or a heart shape. Let me just bring that up. See that? On the front cover, and that was from Lynn Harris as well. Inside the book, I've lined it with the lace from her dress as well. It's a soft cover booklet, but I think it's got just the right amount of pages, and it's got a lovely bond paper inside, so a nice quality writing paper. That is the other side there with the other sleeve, done the same way as the other one. Now I did leave them just raw at the end there so you could see that that was your sleeve, but it is sort of a little bit of glue behind it so it won't unravel or anything like that. But I love the way the buttons look like that. They're so pretty. And then on our last, no, it's not our last. See, I put a lot more in here than what I was anticipating. This page here, another 2 pockets, and this piece here is actually the front of the dress. Just let me move it up a bit. That is where the skirt attaches at the front and comes up like that onto the hip. And this goes up the front of the dress, so it's sort of turned upside down. I thought it was far too pretty to take apart, so that is the feature for this page here. Once again, a couple more tags in those pockets. I've made a satin bow in the center there with another applique piece. I've put a couple of butterflies on this one as well, because the actual front of the dress, it kind of went like that and it looked a bit odd. There was nothing in the corner, so I've used these beautiful applique pieces here and here, and I've used the butterflies there as well, and just arranged things so it looked quite pretty and you couldn't notice that the dress didn't quite, go that far. So we've got appliques, more little trims around the edge that I had from Lynn Harris as well. And then our last page, did I say? Oh yes, I stitched pearls on there. Oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups now. And our last page here, we have another tag. This is done the same as the front page, if you recall. That had the applique from the back of the dress. It is a little bit discoloured here, but that's the way the dress was. So, and there's the other pearls from the back of the neck as well. More little handmade flowers up here and dangled trim. And then on this side here, that is the pearls from the back of the dress. Now, there were 8, but of course I can't fit 8 of them in there. So I've put 5 of the layers from the back of the dress, more appliques from the back of the dress as well, and some of trims and things that I had already. And what I had to do was I've just put a little stitch at the bottom, and I know that it looks like it's a bit crooked, but it's not actually. If you kind of if the book is held up, it all, it hangs quite nicely like that. Not that you're ever going to really do that, but I just didn't want them falling out of the book, because they would go over. If they fall out of the book, you might catch it and beads everywhere. So I thought it was safer just to put a little stitch in each of the layers there. And that is the book, and it's just got some more of that dangle trim down the bottom on both sides there as well. That is, oh, and this, I had this was from Rita. She sent me that some time ago, and I just thought it looked quite pretty with the little pearls to match him with all the pearls as well. And that is the book for Helen, and I feel like it took me far, far too long to do. It was just with the hot summer we had, and just one thing after another at home and things like that. It took far too long. I do apologise for that, Helen, but Helen is, she was in no hurry for it, but still, I'm glad it's done. I really am glad it's done now, and that will be posted off first thing in the morning to Helen. It will be going all the way to Canada. And I really hope she likes it. She hasn't seen it yet. She's not sure if she'll watch the video or not, but I really do hope that she likes it. And there's the bag as well that it will be going in. So thank you so much. Oh, and who was it? Karina, I think, suggested that I sew little pearls on all these dangles on here, and although I think it would look beautiful, once again I didn't want to overpower the actual wedding dress fabric and things like that, so I had to be mindful that I was showcasing her dress and not every single lace that I have. I'm sure she'll understand that. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Helen. I really, really did enjoy doing it. And I'm happy to be moving on with other projects now as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and take care. Bye.